morning, everyone. My name is Matt Bauer, and I'm president of the Madison Avenue Business Improvement District. It's so great to see all of you here for, I think, our fourth in a row. Meet the Concierge. So you, after 4 times, you all graduate. So since we are here at Hunter College, and I want to say thank you to Hunter College, to Siobhan Healy, Tara Rosen-Deutsch, Vice President for External Affairs, and Lorraine Gallucci from Hunter, also for hosting us this morning here at the Roosevelt House Public Policy Institute. They've been our wonderful partners and members of the BID for many, many years. And we are just so pleased to be here in this building that has such an amazing history that, as you know, many parts of the New Deal were initially put together in this building. It really is an amazing resource here for the Upper East Side community. And so you can learn more about the Roosevelt House, and Roosevelt didn't live here. We will be having a tour at the end of this Meet the Concierge event. So if you just come upstairs to the front desk right after after our presentation, and you could hear come to participate in the tour. We have a tremendous partnership with Ware in New York, Morris Communication for many years. Actually, we do 3 concierge events a year with Ware in New York in the spring, of course, adding to Fury's records here. And we do our, of course, Meet the Concierge in spring. In the summer, we do a tour for Hotel Concierge of the new stores that have opened up on Madison Avenue in the past year. And in the fall, we have a networking reception. Actually, last year we did at the Opera Gallery, which was very, very successful. I want to say we are so honored to be working with the Hotel Concierge community. The Madison Avenue BID is actually a corporate member of the New York City Association of Hotel Concierge. So we are honored to come to their meetings and participate in the work that they do. But their work is so important for making Madison Avenue the place that it is. Just a couple of more housekeeping notes. I want to make sure that you all know, since you are experiencing this wonderful space, that it is available for rentals. Yes, please speak to Lorraine afterwards. Actually, I've gotten a few calls over the years of where could we host events that would be a proper venue, and I always do refer them to the Roosevelt House because it really is a unique and wonderful place. The second thing, you are all going to be getting reminder notices from me later on today about our program in partnership with the Robin Hood Foundation. You know, we're very, very honored that Madison Avenue is working with the Robin Hood Foundation for the first time. This is an incredible organization that funds anti-poverty initiatives throughout New York City, and as you all probably know, it's led by the major hedge fund and financial services folks in New York City. And this is a remarkable opportunity for the days immediately after their gala to have those folks that are attending the gala shop at your store. A percentage of the sales goes to the Robin Hood Foundation. It really is a remarkable opportunity for us to get in the inboxes of these individuals that are going to the gala. And I really do recommend that you all take part in that event. So just 2 more acknowledgements before we go. Let's make sure you all know Amy Rossi, who does our marketing and PR. And for those of you who also have stores in Flatiron, yes, there are stores in New York City outside of Madison Avenue. I want to introduce my colleague, Jennifer Brown from the Flatiron Partnership, who is here with us this morning. So without any further ado, it is my great pleasure to, for star of stage and screen, the famous Addie.
No pressure. Thank you for that amazing welcome. I'm so glad to see everyone here this morning. I know it's not easy to get up bright and early to come to our seminar, but hopefully we'll make it fun and informative for everyone. As Matt said, I'm Adeline Fury the Jureka, the publisher of Ware, forgot my name already. I'm the publisher of Ware in New York magazines, and we're pleased to welcome you to our 4th annual Meet the Concierge seminar. We, of course, would like to thank the team at Hunter College and the Roosevelt House for hosting us, and Matt and his team at Madison Avenue Bid for always helping to organize this informative seminar. As I already mentioned, and Matt, it's our 4th year partnering together, so it's really nice to see a lot of familiar faces in the room, and hopefully that means you liked what you heard last year and previous years, so you've come back to learn more. For those of you not familiar with us, our wear brand is published in more than 90 destinations worldwide, and we're reaching more than 246 million travelers through our print, digital, and integrated programs. Specifically here in New York City, our 4 visitor publications are the go-to source for travelers and can be found at 420 hotels across the city and the tri-state area. Complementing our printed publications is our global site, weartraveler.com, and our customized concierge marketing programs, all meant to help in driving traffic to your businesses. We've had some new and exciting changes this past month. Debuting this April, Wear magazine has launched a fresh new look, now with even more editorial content, plus a new Chinese translation section covering luxury retail. It's just another way Wear is expanding to reach a broader audience, as well as provide resourceful tools for our concierge to better serve their hotel guests. As we all know, concierge are key in providing their guests with a top-notch experience. Some of you might already have a relationship with the concierge. For some of you, this might be your first introduction to this influential group. Either way, these professionals serve as a link between your business and the 60 million travelers who spend more than $41 billion a year on shopping, dining, and more in New York City. The people sitting up here play an integral part in directing the travelers on what to experience. The concierge is one of your greatest assets. They should know exactly what you offer and feel confident that your establishment can deliver a great experience for their guests. Today, we'll introduce you to best practices of working with the hospitality community and hopefully allow you to leave with a better understanding of just how to implement these programs and see success from it. Concierge are more of an extension of your staff rather than being your client or your guest. Many of you might invite them to experience what you have to offer. However, they're more interested in hearing and seeing what you would offer to impress their guest. At that point, they're entrusting you to be an extension of the level of service they provide at their hotel. This is what will translate into repeat business and more concierge referrals. So before we begin, I'd like to introduce our panel of experts who are members of the New York City Association of Hotel Concierge, also known as NYCAC. We had some changes in panelists late last night, so there is a bio sheet in all of your bags. 2 people will look very different. Probably boys and are now girls. So we'll be sending out an update later today on the entire panel. But introducing Jeannie Goltinas, Chef Concierge from the Viceroy, Morgan J. Cohen, Concierge at the Surrey, Anya Olanska, Chef Concierge at the Benjamin Hotel, Harold Moots, Assistant Chef Concierge at the St. Regis, Anya Moonjin, Concierge at the Mark, and Marco de los Rios, Concierge at the Lottie New York Palace. He had to tell me how to say Lottie earlier. He said it's like latte. So hopefully I got it right. So before we begin the Q&A part of it, I'll have Harold kind of start, I love to put him on the spot first, kind of really explain what the New York City Association of Concierge is.
So we're all members of an organization that is now over 30 years old. That started in the city where a lot of people felt the need to commiserate with each other about issues going on in the city.
Let's do this. A little bit easier, especially the upstairs VIP section. Good morning. So we're currently a membership of about, Marco, 170, let's say? 170 concierge, of which that is probably about 110 Clé d'Or, which is the golden keys that I'm wearing currently here. That's our social pin. As you walk in the hotels, you see that. And we meet once a month, January through June. We take July and August off. We come back September, October, November, and then we usually have a holiday party in December. We are very busy throughout the year, thanks to our partnerships with our fabulous visitor magazines. And for example, there's going to be a tree planting taking place tomorrow. We definitely give back a lot to the city and do a lot of things. We have a trade show coming up in June, which we're very excited about, which does really well at the Metropolitan Pavilion downtown. But, we're always looking for really good members to join our ranks. And when we meet, we talk. We discuss things that are going on in the city, what works for us, what doesn't, the new restaurants that are opening, new stores that are opening, who we need to know where to make things happen for our guests. So.
I think it's also important to note, how does someone become a member? There's an application process, so...
There's an application process. If you start fresh as a green concierge in a hotel, you can apply. You can become a social affiliate, which means that you can get on the list for the visitor magazines to be invited to a lot of amazing events that they help to orchestrate, be they theater openings or restaurant openings, stores, galleries. Last night we were at the Whitney. Thank you very much, Annie. We got to see the biennial at the Whitney Museum, which was amazing. And then after, it was 2 years, you can become a full member. And full member just entitles you to voting rights. So we do vote. We have elections every year, every other year, depending on sort of how the term goes. So I've been on the board quite a bit, and then I was also president, but I've since stepped off. But it's twice. But it's a vibrant community, and we talk to each other all the time. So.
Great, thank you, Harold. So let's kind of dive into understanding who our travelers are and how they're planning first. So do you guys find that travelers are doing a lot of their planning and itineraries prior to arrival, or when they're getting here, or a little bit of both?
Are we just going?
Well, whoever wants to grab it.
Hello, my name is Jeannie from the Viceroy. Absolutely, I think now with social media, especially though, people are just more. They have a lot more information before they even come to the hotel, and they're constantly calling us and emailing us. I personally prefer to set up an itinerary before, just because I hate doing things last minute. But definitely, people are calling and emailing and wanting something before they step to the hotel. And then, of course, you get the ones that want everything day of. 19 people for a reservation at first day person.
Yeah, of course. But you're fabulous.
Yeah,
You make it happen. Anyone else want to take that? Add anything to that?
Hi, I'm Morgan J. Cohen from the Surrey Hotel, and I find the same thing. It's a little bit of a mix. I do appreciate getting an email from a guest prior to their arrival so I can help them make the best of their stay, the most of their time. There's so much to do in New York if they're only here for a few days. Some people don't know that they should do all the downtown things, on the same day, and then do all the uptown things on the same day. So they're not all over the city. But then, like Jeannie said, we do have the last minute guests who last minute want what they want when they want it, and we have to deliver that as well. So I think for me at my hotel, it's a bit of a mix.
So do your hotels do outreach prior? So when a guest makes a reservation, do concierge typically reach out ahead of time to say, you're coming and arriving, and can we help assist with?
Hi, I'm from the Benjamin. We actually do. 2 days before the guest arrival, we print out the list of all the VIPs and all the guests arriving, and we send general email from the concierge desk asking the guests what is their what they would like to do in New York, what's the itinerary, if we can add anything to it, or if we create one. That helps us to get guests into restaurants that we would like to go. That helps us to make reservations at stores with the private shopper, or also create their itinerary so they can use that time wisely in New York.
Great. So, important question. When companies want to introduce their brand and business and the services they offer, what's some best practices you could recommend on how they do so? A lot of times, I'm going to combine these two questions, a lot of times brands and stores will tell us that, they're put up with the task of walking around to hotels and just walking in and introducing who they are. So maybe you can kind of speak to that practice and others that work well for you guys to meet people.
I personally think an email first introduction is better. We are so busy at the desk, and I feel so awful when someone comes and they're so kind and they've been walking around all day, and I'm like, I can't see you. It's just not possible. And then they're waiting, and so a nice introduction email. Also, it just kind of eliminates that we might not be well suited for each other. You might be coming to my hotel, and it's really not for my guests at all. And now you've wasted your time, and I feel bad making you leave. So I think an email introduction personally is the best. You can always stop by. It's nice because if we have the time to talk to you, but I personally think that. I'm not sure.
Annabelle, you want to
Email is the way to go, I think. Or it's better if you reach out to a publication such as we're in New York, and then you guys can always intro.
Annabelle, you want
Yes,
to
I
ask?
agree with Jeannie, 100%. Sometimes people come to the hotel and they leave their business cards or like little cards or big brochures. And many times concierge desks lack the space to even put these items. Like we really, our concierge desks unfortunately are very small, and we have very limited storage space. So I personally feel very bad when someone from a beautiful store, they bring these beautiful books with these pictures, and it's so gorgeous, and what are we gonna do with this? So I would rather have like a small business card from the store manager if I ever need to reach the store manager or the restaurant. And as well, I think email is great because then you just go into your email, you just do a quick search and you just get it. So I agree with Jeannie. And sometimes we are so busy. I also feel very bad when someone comes so nicely to the hotel and they want to introduce themselves and explain what the store is all about or the restaurant is all about. And we are super busy and we don't have time to spend with you or to even hear and absorb all that information. So I agree that email is the best way, and maximum probably like a business card with information so we can contact and reach out to the key person when we need it.
So what I'm hearing, so we're all on the same page, is that for an initial introduction, probably not best to just walk into a hotel and hope that that concierge and that team has time to speak with you, but that if you already have a relationship with a brand, it's okay if they maybe want to pop by and just say hello, kind of as a reminder. We're up the block and we're having a sale this week or something, we have our new product line, because that can take a few minutes. But I think taking, many years ago when I first started with the company, I used to go around to hotels checking to see if they had the magazines out. And I learned quick that I had to take cue from concierge on, if there was a long line of people, I should not be waiting in it to say hello to them. Because they would get really upset with me. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Just to add on to that, I also think if a vendor, a store, a restaurant, anyone, if you want to set up an appointment to come in, email, and we can put some time aside, because then I can have a coworker watch the desk while I speak to you, or vice versa, because so many times I feel so bad. These wonderful people are coming in, and sorry, let me grab the phone, and sorry, I have to step aside, there's a guest. And so besides just an email introduction, if you do want to come into the hotel and chat, it's always good to set up an appointment.
So that kind of leads actually into the next question. I think people want to know, a lot of the bigger desks have a chef concierge, which is typically the manager of the desk. Should a business start with introducing their brand through email by phone to a chef concierge only, or is it important to kind of get in front of the whole team, since you all work such different schedules? Jeannie, you're a chef concierge, maybe you can speak to that, and Anya.
I cannot agree with you. I think everyone needs to know. I used to not be a chef concierge, and it would annoy me sometimes when people call and they only wanted to speak to the chef. And I'm like, well, there's 5 of us on this team, and she's not the only one that works here. So I think it'd be great if we can all be introduced to you, and then, again, she might not be there that day, so are you going to constantly call until she's there? It's much better to maybe relay the message to one of us, and then we would definitely tell our chef concierge, and then we'll take it from there. But I think it's only fair for the whole team, because we all work so hard, and sometimes I think people think just because it's the manager there, she or he are the only people there. And I mean, at least for my team, I love everyone to know what's going on, not just me. It's really important.
Better that way, actually.
I'm sorry?
It's better that way, because
Yeah.
we're all on the same team anyhow, so. Or at the end, you can always send an email to the team and then meet with the chat.
Right.
So.
And many times we have a central email for the desk as opposed to our individual emails. So if you send it to the central email, that's usually shared out to all of our individual team members. We're a team of 9. So if somebody comes up to me and hands me their business card and I have a conversation with them, I put it directly into our CRM, into our system that we have. We all work on different systems. And then I share it out to everybody so that way they get a touch and feel for it and say, okay, here's our contact at this restaurant or this business or so. And I'll send it to Maria and be like, set up an appointment and see if we can meet with them.
That's great. You covered the next question about, is there like a back-end process? So hotels that are kind of big, like the St. Regis and the Marriotts of the world that have 12 or 14, or the Latte, New York Palace.
The latte.
You have a huge team, right? So if somebody comes in and speaks to a chef concierge or one concierge, you guys have some kind of system in place where you're all sharing on the back end. Okay, good to know.
I actually also, I do sometimes email even the rest of my colleagues, because if it's not, like I said, if it's not suited for my hotel, and it's more of a St. Regis kind of guest, I'm like, hey, Harold, I'll email, like, the community really do, and I think we all try to help each other to help
That's a
you
really
as
good
well,
point.
because again, I don't like wasting anyone's time, I'm sure you guys don't like wasting your time, so I think that's really important to kind of do that as well.
Perfect. So, one of the things you brought up, Harold, about the Whitney last night. So, a lot of businesses, and we definitely get this request a lot, want to host events. So, that being kind of one way to introduce your brand and your services and what you have to offer. So, can you guys speak to how events are beneficial as far as learning about businesses across the city?
I think the events are so important because there might be a store that I might not have ever even heard of, or, things are popping up new all over the place and this and that, and you can read about it, you can look at pictures online, you can Google it, but if you're in that store, you're seeing that product, you're touching the clothing, you're trying on shoes, you're, seeing what they have to offer, speaking to. That's not true. You buy her.
She's a shopper.
I did just get a pair of shoes at an event a couple weeks ago. But I just personally, and then I can visualize it and I can explain it to my guests a little bit more in detail, and what, if they're looking for something specific, I can tell them where in the store to go and who to speak to, and rather than just kind of look online and kind of shoot from the hip, I feel like it's always better to have that personal experience.
Go ahead.
Success story. A guest of ours came in recently and randomly on a weekend, family getaway. And she came up and just asked quietly, I'm looking for a Kelly bag. And I happen to have I have a couple of people at Hermes that actually reached out to me. They came to me, they gave me a brochure and so forth, invited me into the store and to check it out. So I had a contact and I called and I sent out, I said, I have somebody looking for this, can you call me back? And they said, they just wanted a point person on the inside. And honestly, for us to make our magic happen, to have an inside contact, that we know and that we can trust will sort of carry the torch from us to them and hopefully end up with a good sale. So she came back and she showed me her big orange box, and it was the bag of a color that she wanted, and it was exactly the size she wanted. And as you may know, Hermes does not divulge stock or availability, and it's all very, it's a really great business model, I suppose, for them. It's a little frustrating for us because guests don't want to leave the house, they want to know, what's available. But it happened, and it was really good. And it was all because we had a contact on the inside, and that's what makes our magic happen. So.
And Mark, go ahead, Anya.
I just had very demanding guests, and we wanted we were really trying hard to make them happy. I arranged a VIP tour to a World Trade Center, and there was a huge line during that weekend of Easter. And my contact at the VIP contact took them through back door, basically cut all the lines, and the guests came back so
We all know there's a back door now.
Yeah. We made the
Don't wait in
weekend.
line, everybody.
We made the weekend.
Call Anya.
The flight, they got on the flight with the kids. That was the last weekend with their children because they were going to college, and the flight was taking back to Toronto. They flew right back in. It was like they had a very bad experience with getting into New York. So they were very, very happy. So that helps. That helps when you have that VIP contact that you can reach out to and meet your guests at the venue.
That's great, and obviously, we do a lot of events a month for the industry, and I always find that it's so helpful, like you guys are saying, that when you kind of meet that face-to-face interaction with someone and you build that relationship for the hour that you're at the event, it's super helpful, because I think we all just want to know that when we're recommending something or sending someone somewhere, they're in the hands of the person that you actually had that interaction with and got to experience that level of service. So, all very helpful, and you're kind of leading into like the next segment of, the guest experience side. So you guys just gave some great points about, how you work with people on the inside, and it really helps with the guest experience. Can you give some other great examples of basically what businesses have done to make you feel really comfortable recommending guests to them to experience their store, their restaurant, museums?
For me personally, with restaurants, I feel like when there's a point person or a liaison, talking to them directly, I think it's great when restaurants will they'll send a glass of Prosecco or dessert or something on behalf of the concierge who made the reservation. It makes the concierge look good, it makes the restaurant look good, and it's just that personalization. The guests feel so important, like, wow, Morgan from the Surrey just sent me a glass of Prosecco, that's so nice of her, you know? And then they come back and they thank you, and it's just, you know, everybody's happy, it's a win-win for everyone. So for restaurants, I think that's a really good incentive, and if anyone wants to speak out stores.
It actually
too.
happened to me, and I recommended the guest to a restaurant, and then they came back and they said, thank you for the bellinis, and I'm like, oh, you're welcome, and I'm like, oh, okay, then I go to the restaurant, thank you. It's like, you don't even know sometimes what restaurants do for your guests once they are there, but there are certain restaurants that are very close to our properties where we send guests over and over and over, so they know us very well, and they know that we sent the guests over to them. It's not that the guests just walked into that restaurant. So it's always very nice to hear that our guests were treated the same way that we would treat them at the hotel, so with the same level of service. So that's always a great thing to hear from.
So you just mentioned that you know, the guests came back and you found out that they got those bellinis and you didn't even know. Do you find it helpful when businesses have that relationship with you in advance so that they're kind of educating you on what kind of, you know, service they are able to extend, so that you do know in advance?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so
It
it's
always
important to
helps.
definitely get that messaging out.
Because then, you know, we can either tell the guest, oh, you know, if you go to such and such place, you will have such and such experience, or, you know, like sometimes we have discount cards for certain stores. People always love that, you know, even just 10%.
That's a question coming up, actually.
They love it. Like, people just see a discount, a percentage there, and they just go and they feel somehow better. You know, like better
I know
treated,
I do.
or that they're
Who
getting
doesn't?
something in return. Yes, yes.
People love name dropping too, so basically,
Oh,
if we tell them, oh, if you go to this store, you meet the manager, his name is so-and-so, oh my God, that makes their experience so much better.
So, one of you mentioned some businesses, you know, have a concierge liaison. So someone really kind of dedicated on their staff that is the one that's the point person, so that when concierge are sending people, whether it be a store, a restaurant, they can really name someone that they're gonna speak to when they get there. How important is it for businesses to really have like a main point person, of course knowing that person is not always there, but really important that everyone on their staff knows how important a relationship is with concierge, and that it should always be, you know, consistent, no matter who you're speaking to on their staff. But maybe you could speak to kind of scenarios that you've had where you've had that point person and where you haven't, and it's kind of affected the experience side.
I know for me, I'll speak on the point of where I haven't had that connection, and I'll call a restaurant and I say, hi, it's Morgan from the Surrey, I need to make a reservation for a guest, and then the person I'm speaking to is putting in the guest's name as Morgan Cohen. I'm like, no, I'm Morgan. My guest is Mr. Jones. You know, they have no idea, and it's embarrassing for me to even sit, like,
Especially when you have guests in front of you.
yeah, and I'm having to repeat myself and say, no, I'm Morgan. You know, I just feel like that, for restaurants especially, whoever is the reservationist or the maitre d', usually they should know if we're calling from a hotel, the, you know, proper procedure and everything, and it shouldn't just be such like a blind kind of call. And like Annabella was saying, we have so many restaurants that we send so many people to. I'm on such a first-name basis with certain people, like, hey, Salvatore, it's Morgan, can you get me in two people tonight, you know, this and that, and it's just easier, it's more comfortable, you know it's a done deal. So that, for me, is
But also it's important that if your contact is not there, to pass that on to someone who will take care of your guests when they're not actually physically in the venue or the store.
Mm-hmm.
That way, when you send your guests over and your contact person is not there, then they have somebody else who will take care of your guests.
Right, agreed.
So,
I think it's
you know,
so important, like when you have especially when you're investing in reaching concierge, that everyone in your team is aware of the special services that you have that,
At
for
the
your
end of the
guests.
day, it's a teamwork. So
Mhm.
whoever we recommend is an extension of who we are as a brand, for
Perfect.
whoever we were at the time. So it should be, you know, pretty much the same experience.
Mhm. So earlier you guys mentioned about, Annabella mentioned about how she found out about her guests and getting bellinis, and maybe not something as small as that piece, but do you have like report back system in place, and how important is it for businesses? So for example, you send a guest to, a retail store they're looking like the bag, for example. If that guest maybe didn't have the best experience, or they didn't have, is it important, Harold, for you to know before that guest gets back to the hotel? Even if it's positive, is that helpful?
Sometimes they get a call before they even make it back to the
Yeah,
hotel.
exactly.
And the store person will just be like, we didn't have the greatest experience, we couldn't find what we were looking for, whatever, so at least we know ahead of time. So we're armed when they come home.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
I have heard that before from Concierge, that it's really important for them, even if it's a great experience, right? Because you want to be able to
Well,
speak.
he did email me back and said, oh, by the way, we found what she was looking for and she's very happy. So I already had it in my mind when she came back, and I called her on it when she walked through the door. I'm like, oh, what's with the orange box? She's like, I found what I was looking for. So, I mean, it worked full circle, and the full circle idea.
That's the perfect
And
way to
again,
say
be it a
it.
bellini, be it a bag, whatever it is, it comes back to us, we hear about it.
So
So,
communication is key.
Mhm.
I usually, if I see a guest coming back from, let's say, late at night, and I know that they went to dinner at some place that I recommended, I always try to ask. If I see them and if I can catch them, I am like, oh, how was your dinner? Or how was, your experience with such and such attraction or store? And that's very important, at least for me, to know that if I recommended a certain venue, that the guest had a good experience, and if not, I also want to know, because then I need to know what went wrong and try to correct it from next
Sure,
time.
and if you could know in advance,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
If the business realizes
I
that.
once had a restaurant calling me back and saying, oh no, there was an issue with these guests, so then and if they come back to you, sometimes they don't mention it to you, and sometimes they do, so if they do, you already know that something went wrong, so you're prepared. I think it's important to know.
Right, because then you would maybe want to do something on your end to say, I'm sorry about the unfortunate, but.
I had a guest whose jacket was ruined at the restaurant, and by the time he walked into the door, the restaurant called me prior. I already had 3 solutions what to do. So he was so
Great.
impressed. And
We're
made
all
me
sitting
look-
at the bench.
made me look good.
Anya is armed. No, I think but even in the retail aspect world, right? Especially at the type of properties that you guys work at. People have expectations of what they're going in for, to shop for, and what their expectations of what they're gonna leave with. So it's super important to, obviously, the more you know about a business, the better, right? Making sure it's the perfect recommendation, and
Especially
then,
with the prices that they're paying.
right,
On Madison Avenue specifically, I had a guest recently that had a very bad experience at a store close by to the Mark. And he said, oh, yeah, and I said, I was talking to such and such on the phone. He said, yeah, she was not very helpful. So I'm like, oh gosh. And, it's a very nice store that is very close to the hotel and where we send guests. So, it's always important to know.
And it's important to know, and then when they do have a negative experience, it's uncomfortable for us because we recommended it, we sent them there, and we do try to do something in the hotel to rectify it, whether it's, an apology with a bottle of wine or something like that, but then sometimes you have to call the store and speak to the manager and find out what happened, what went wrong, how can we prevent that in the future, why did this happen, and it's uncomfortable for both parties when something like that happens, but it's life and it does happen. So you just have to,
as long as it's handled on both ends,
Mhm.
and that proactiveness is taken, then I think you guys appreciate that, right?
Absolutely.
Because, errors happen. We talk about restaurants and stuff and relating it to retail. Do you find that it's a better experience if you call ahead? Because I've heard from retail brands before, they would like to know in advance, especially if you're sending a VIP, so they can really kind of roll out the red carpet per se and kind of make sure that they're kind of hand-holding that person that you're really putting in their, in their hands. Do you call ahead when you're sending someone to retail?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Again, and that's why we have an inside contact, I put hand to hand, and they'll take care of them and sort of walk them through the entire experience. So-
Okay, good.
Because personalization we're finding now these days is so vital and so important,
It's
and
funny,
it's key.
so you guys were saying before about how you like to call up and make restaurant reservations, and I think everyone just always assumes everyone's using Open Table, which is great and helpful, But in the concierge aspect of things, it's not helpful.
It's even worse when they say, oh, are you on open table? I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah, they'll say that.
Yeah, everyone.
You know, I'm inputting their information in our system, and they're like, oh, you're just looking on open table, because there was nothing I already
Yeah,
checked. And I'm like, no, I'm putting your information in the system, and then you can watch me call the restaurant right now and speak to
The manager
manager
taking, like,
yeah,
first name.
exactly, and
Yeah, I think people forget that personal interaction is still so crucial to all of our businesses. It's not just about, you're entering in something and sometimes you really don't know where it goes. You obviously hope it lands into the right place, but you want to know that you've had that, especially when you have VIPs and just regular, any type of guest, because it's falling back on you guys to really make sure that you recommend the right place. So I know I'm still very old school in the sense of, I still call and order my food over the phone.
I do too, because sometimes it comes back wrong.
We like to hear that person, it's reassuring, and in the service industry, it's so important.
Well, we're also competing with things like OpenTable, we're fighting with Resi.com and Reserve.com, which is now the bane of our existence because it's very limited in how their software works right now to get a reservation. So I had a meeting actually with them last week, and we had a conversation about it, and they've realized that there needs to be a platform for us, for the concierge, to be able to book reservations. So now they're going to be opening up a concierge platform soon. They're going to release it in a few weeks. And no, Resi.com.
I'm not sure if you guys.
So
are
Resi's
familiar with
huge.
It's
Yeah.
very different from OpenTable. You, as the guest, can't actually, if we're making the reservation, it has to be my name.
Yeah.
And you can put in parentheses that it's actually, okay, John Doe, but it's so much work for us because a lot of guests don't want to do it on their own. So as Harold said, we're trying to work with them to be able to input their information as well.
And you don't want to have
No.
a guest do it on their
Yeah.
own, like, there are certain restaurants where you have to have an account, so,
Yeah,
you know,
it's Resi, you have to have an actual account.
but even without Resi, certain actual restaurants
Oh,
have
yeah.
it, like Momo's, stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, I have an account and doing it, and it's just, you don't want to have to tell a guest, like, oh, you have to log in, or you have to.
Or use my name, because
Yeah,
that's
you
my
wanna-
account.
you
and-
wanna
You're creating an extra step, and it's really about you
Well,
taking
it's
that
more
away
work.
from the guest, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna get to one of the hot topics that we always like to bring up. And people are usually don't wanna ask the question themselves. Should incentive programs be offered to the concierge? And if so, how are they necessary in getting referral business for a lot of these places in the world?
Well, ethically, no. We are not allowed to take any incentives at all. It's part of our association, it's just not, we can't. So,
We're not incentive driven, let's put it that way.
what I think is more important for maybe for you, like, I personally think when someone invites us to their actual restaurant or the store, so we can experience it, and then we can give that information to our guests. It's just, and then again, we have this nice relationship with you and take it from there, but trying to give us like an extra $10 every time someone comes to the restaurant, or $10 if someone comes into our store, I don't know, I think it's a little tacky as well personally, so I prefer.
So, because again, I've heard many times over the years, businesses will walk in with that assumption right off the bat.
Absolutely, right away,
Because there's
yeah.
definitely some, stigmas in the industry where that's kind of often been mentioned, and then there's non-concierge desks that are out in the world that's how they run their business. You don't get business from them unless you're giving a monetary incentive. So, when somebody walks in and says, here is my X business, and if you recommend, you're gonna get X% of the sale. What's your response?
Honestly, if a guest wants ABC and I'm gonna send them to XYZ just so I can get an incentive, who's happy then?
Yeah.
The guest doesn't get what they want, I mean, I don't care about the 10%, it's, like Jeannie said, it's tacky, I think, and, we wanna send our guests to the best place possible that's gonna suit their needs, whether it does anything, it's going to do something for us, it's gonna make us feel happy
Right.
and satisfied that we did our job, and that's all the
And I think
incentive
that guest is gonna, because nowadays with hotels and how they're evolving and growing, and sometimes rooms are getting smaller and amenities are cut, I think service is one of the biggest things that sets hotels apart from each other. So I know for me, I would wanna stay at a hotel that concierge really went above and beyond and made sure that my experience was so memorable that why would I wanna ever stay anywhere else? And travelers coming to New York are repeat travelers. Especially in many of your high-end properties, you get a lot of, and some of you have residential towers. So you're talking to some of the same people that So yeah, so what can a business do? So I think that's important because I think a lot of people in the room want to thank you, right? You're sending business their way, not an incentive, but is it okay to take a thank you gift? Or maybe but, you know, maybe it's, sometimes I always say to clients that, you know, obviously depending on your product price point, but if you have something that's product related that can be given, great, because then it allows concierge to really wear and use your stuff. But again, it's not necessary. But, you know, can someone, they just want to say thank you. So obviously we know
I
restaurants
got
can invite
a
you.
wine opener once from one of the stores.
Oh, that's
And
so
they
nice.
open the store every day.
Oh, that's fantastic. And do you think of them every time you go? No, I mean, it's a valid point. So that's what,
It's such a thing like small, like a keychain or a wine opener, for instance, with the name on it. So something that you reach out every day. So when the guests approach you and ask you, where should I buy A, B, and Z? Like, oh yeah, like, you know, like I have it on my keychain. I remember the name because I reach out for it every day.
and one of you mentioned earlier that it's really about your guest experience, right? So we always share with our brands that, you know, it's important to let them know what are you doing that's kind of above and beyond your competitor next door. So why should a concierge choose you over the person that's right next door to them that's doing similar type of services? So we say, hey, if you're doing something special like, it came up actually, I think at last year's seminar, that a retail brand, a guest came in, shopped, spent a lot of money, and then they wanted to charge them for delivery back to their hotel. I know, right? Unheard of. No, I'm just kidding. So, a concierge had mentioned, I remember it was Isabel, she was up here from the Mark, and she said that she was kind of embarrassed, and the hotel ended up paying for it, because they felt bad about it. But it's important, right? So retail brands can do, you know, complimentary delivery. I know some brands that we've worked with in the room do custom tailoring on premise. Or, you know, if a guest is shopping for 3 or 4 hours, maybe they buy them lunch. Maybe they're greeted with a glass of Prosecco, even in a retail store. All acceptable and good to know, right?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And just going back to the gifts thing, it's nice when restaurants come by and sometimes they'll bring like cookies or, you know, something just, if it's a restaurant we've never been to, and then we can experience that and say, oh, this is a good dessert, I'm gonna try that place, you know, stuff like that. But certain gifts, like small gifts, like Anya said, a wine opener, or I have a big mug from North Face, and it's like my soup mug, and I just like, you know, every time I have soup, it has to go in that mug, and I just think of,
I
you
didn't
know.
get that mark, by the way.
We must have gypped you at that event, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
We like working better, I don't know.
Only to the Upper East Side.
So when people have these special services and they want to, you know, typically like when we host an event, we tell them, hey, if you have a promotional card, you can give everyone, or email, right?
Right.
Email's the best way, like you guys were saying. So if a business has kind of like a list of the things that are special, of how they can take care of your guests, is it easiest to get that information emailed to you so then you can kind of,
Yes.
I know you guys have that certain concierge systems, MS Shift, and is it a concierge?
So concierge.
I
So-
have a lot of guests that like to visit galleries. So we love when galleries send us what's new.
Yes.
And they send a couple pictures because, you know, we don't have the time to go to every gallery. And that allows me to even show the guests, oh, yes, this gallery is having this, and that. So
Mhm.
sometimes I take my guests to my desk and show them the pictures.
So
I see
email
that-
updates, so even
Definitely.
products like full line is
And
in,
this
these are
one
the
has
new.
actually a little iPad, so they can show everything that they, you know, they want us to see. I want that too.
Sorry. The email also, it's in writing or, you know, on screen, that you have the information, because someone can tell you what they're offering and what they have, but we're so busy, we forget. But if we can refer back to an email, just search the subject, the store, whatever, and then we say, oh yeah, they offer this, it's always better to have it, quote unquote, in writing, you know, just so we can refer back to it. And to pass it on to our colleagues, because really quick, Annabella and I work at a hotel right next to each other, and we're calling each other about something, you know, really quick, like, just this do this, just this do that, and then it's just easy to just shoot an email, I found out the answer and then I called her back and I was like, just so you know, so you can tell your guests, you know, that's helpful too.
Yeah, because sometimes we'll get information that the other concierge might not. Like last week, I was helicopters, for example, helicopter tours. I just sent an email blast. I'm sorry if everyone didn't get it, but they're fully booked for the like next month. And sometimes, as we're so busy that you're calling, you're on hold, and you're like, damn it. But if we all knew, oh, thanks you for that email, you know. So it's really nice to do, you know, at
So
a
there's a
time.
lot of networking between you
Oh my
guys.
God, yeah.
It's,
We share the most we can, because, you know,
Yeah.
then you save time.
Yeah.
It's better.
And sorry, back to the galleries,
Yeah.
if anybody has any contact with that, remember the
Gallery
gallery
guide,
guide that we
they're
used
gone.
to
They're
receive
gone.
and they're gone? Please bring them back, somebody bring those books back.
Madison Avenue just launched a gallery guide of the galleries on Madison Avenue.
Wait to get our copies.
It's in store for the Madison Avenue Gallery Walk this Saturday, so we'll be
Okay.
delivering them
Oh,
to
thank you,
you.
somebody bring some to
Well,
the mark.
kudos to Matt Bauer and honestly to Madison to build their website. I rely on it a lot, because as you know, and
Nat
mostly
is
it's from the
great.
Avenue, is there's constant movement in the city. Obviously, rents are pushing a lot of people out and moving them to different locations. But I mean, the most updated information I get from your site, I mean, you do publish a beautiful map, but I mean, the moment it goes to print, it's outdated, right? So, but I mean, physically, it's beautiful to hand to somebody and say, oh, by the way the stores, and you can mark your entire trip on there. But it's been a huge boon, you know, at least for us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
great.
And
So, go ahead, no, you want to answer?
I was just gonna say, kind of what Marco was saying, with the community and everything, I feel like the concierge industry and NICAC, our association as a whole, there's not competition, it's more friendship. It's not, I work at this hotel, so I do this, it's, we all wanna inform each other, we all wanna be informed, because my guest at the Surrey might next week be Jeannie's guest at the Viceroy, and vice versa. And it's just very important that we all are connected with the same information and we all share it with each other. We're, you know, we hang out outside of that. We're
And you
friends.
guys move around a lot sometimes,
Yes.
right? So I always say that to people that, you know, there's an association of about 200 concierge, and then there's about 420 hotels in the city. So there are other concierge, and they just may not have that title. They might be front desk, guest relations, ambassadors, depending on, you know, a lot of hotels are boutique-like. But important to always get in front of all of them, because those concierge are networking with New York City Association Concierge. They're joining their membership at some point, and they're moving up in the ranks, and, you know, we're all aspiring to work at hotels like all of yours. So definitely always important to kind of put yourself, your business out, and, you know, never really make that assumption that, you know, a middle-of-the-road hotel might not be your audience, because you know, guests sometimes spend less on where they stay, because it's all about their experience. And also that concierge working at, you know, I don't want to name a hotel, but working at a high 3, 4-star will be at a 5-star probably in a few months. So that's
Right.
important to know.
And what's very important for us too is the hours of operation, especially during the holidays. We really, really appreciate it if you let us know if your store is gonna be closed, if it's gonna be open, or it's gonna be like, the helicopter is so loud.
If you put it on the website, it's so important, and believe it or not, there are so many stores where you cannot find their hours of operations or their phone numbers.
Yes.
It's incredible on the website, it's so helpful for us to just go on the website really quick, Google a store, get in, and then get their phone numbers or hours of operation. And if you have all that updated for the holidays, it saves so much time for us. I don't have time to call constantly a store and listen to the recording. Sometimes it's like 10 different, if you want this first one, if you want this, I can't. I need to keep it moving, and it saves a lot of time.
Let me just say, folks, that on our Madison Avenue Bid website, we list all of your telephone numbers and your store hours. If your store hours are ever changing, especially for summer or for the holidays, let us know so we can update it on the website. It takes about 2 seconds for me to make the
That's great.
change.
It's like
So
one-stop
please
shopping.
contact us for that.
So I know some people have to leave soon to open up stores and businesses. So I wanna open it up to the audience now, so that, you know, some participation, some questions, maybe some things we didn't cover. Does anyone have a question? Don't be shy. Oh, perfect. Sure.
You You know, because Matt and I work so hard to try and bring our stores forward, what our activities are. What percentage, we talked a lot about restaurants, I'm sorry, no wait.
I know we talked a lot about restaurants. I was saying that we work very hard to try and get as much information to you as possible on behalf of our businesses. But I'm curious, your visitors, how interested in relationship to, let's say, going to the theater or getting a great restaurant, what's the percentage of interest in shopping, just out of curiosity?
I would say 80%.
80%. Well, now that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So is there, beyond what we do as the Madison Avenue bid, you made a lot of comments, but is there something, we have so many wonderful stores in the room today, something we're not doing? Do you need a name for each one? What can we do to improve? We're so near your hotel.
I think point of contact is number one for me. It's
It is.
really, yeah, it's just building that relationship, because especially with high-end guests that just want that. And when you're sending them somewhere, they have no idea who they should speak to. I'm not saying VIP, everyone's a VIP, right? All of our guests are VIPs, but it really is nice when I just call, because even with Bergdorf Goodman, I had for years, I was struggling, the shoe department, oh, this is who you should call. And you call, and you get transferred, and then you get transferred, and then you get transferred, and no one answers, and you're like, oh. So now we have our point of contact, and I can just call that guy and be like, hey, she's coming in.
Yeah.
So it really, that's for me at least.
Yeah,
point of
well, to add
contact.
to that, also our visitors are repeat guests,
Mhm.
many repeat guests, so they come back to our property because they love our product. So they have a time set, they have no time to waste and wonder, oh, that store has that? It's better to walk in, get in, get out. They usually have a driver, they have a lunch appointment maybe after, or Botox, or who knows.
I know, I'm in the wrong business.
It's not kind of clientele to deal with.
What am I
They
doing
have
wrong?
no time. They have no time.
Yes,
They
I
really
know, rough
don't.
life.
I agree, I was about to say, knowing the availability of a certain product at a store is crucial for our guests. Like, for me, calling and getting someone on the phone that can tell me, yes, I have this item, or no, I don't have this item, and then let's try at a different store, is very important in terms of, saving time, as Marco said. Sometimes people are like running around, buying stuff from store to store, so it's very important to get someone on the phone.
A lot of guests are looking also for specific items. So if you specialty store, please let us know. It's very important to us to know that this is your specialty. And so this way, this time when I have that guest that is looking for that item, I know exactly what to send them.
It also saves their time as well, because they're so limited. Some of these people are here for 2 days, and they let you know that they want something. If I can call ahead and be like, don't waste your time going all the way out on the Upper East Side for this. It might be in Soho, if you have the same store, for example. And the guest is like, wow, thank you so much. I would have gone all the way up there, and then, so it's nice if we can know right away.
So again, I think it's all tying back to really point person, relationship, and really getting as much information that's consistent from the brands. Not just popping out on the scene to say who you are, but really staying in constant contact to let you know, this is what we have this week, or we have new styles coming in, or we've just added this whole new line of men's when we used to be women. So just as much education as possible. Yeah. Any other questions? Sure. You need to run around the room. This is my exercise over there. Not going to the gym. There you go.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Brown. As Matt mentioned, I am the head of the Flatiron 23rd Street Partnership, which is another business improvement district, and there are 73 of us in the city now. So we, in our neighborhood, are actively looking to create more partnerships with hotels. We have a really growing hotel population. So 10 years ago, there were almost no hotels in our immediate boundaries, and now we have probably 24 that have opened up either right within or outside. So it's a little bit newer of a thing for us, but I wanted to ask you about the maps, because you mentioned the Madison Avenue map. We have one large piece of print collateral that we're still printing 75,000 copies of, and to your point, the second that we print it, it's out of date because stores close or they open or restaurants, but we've still sort of held on to that one major piece of it. I'm curious, because we have an ongoing dialogue within our own board and our own office about whether or not print collateral is just completely obsolete in this day and age.
No.
So because you're working with so many visitors, I'm curious what your thoughts are on handing somebody something. And I think it's relevant to stores and restaurants as well, if they have print materials versus are people just doing everything online.
For maps, I think it's so important. They love,
Right on them.
tourists
They
love,
write on it. Yeah, we
write everything on
circle
it.
it. You do plan that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm just agreeing with you. Plan your whole itinerary, you're gonna go here, then you're gonna go here, then you're gonna go here, and you can write it all on the map, it's just incredible.
Because on their phones, a lot of these people don't even have their internet. Once they leave the hotel, the Wi-Fi doesn't work or something, so they're on their phone and then they can't get access to it. So a nice map.
And I always say to people, because people ask us that question all the time, being in the business of print and of course digital too, you can't get a full aerial view of the city on your iPhone.
No, right.
And often, travelers are not always just staying in a 6-block radius, Google is great for when you plug in an address when you're trying to get around that corner to see which corner you turned right or wrong. But I know you guys, and we've learned this from you because you've really helped improve our products over the years. You want to be able to say, hey, you're starting here, and then you're taking the 4-line down, and you're gonna hop off here to grab that thing that you're looking for and for lunch, and then you're gonna head down to One World. So, I know I've learned that from you guys over the years, so that's kind of what I always tell people too, because I think people always think print is dead. It's absolutely not.
And also based on age, older people sometimes are not so proficient with their phones or their iPads. And as Ginny said, we have a lot of international travelers, and you have to think that these people sometimes they don't have access to the internet outside of the Wi-Fi. So, yes, I find it very useful.
Yes to maps.
I just love writing on them and
Yeah.
circling, and then they're like, wait, what is it? H, the hotel's here. T, your theater's here. D, you're having dinner here. I find it helpful.
And those end up being a piece of souvenir. At
Yes.
the end, at the end of their stay, they're like, oh my God, this is everything we did.
Yeah.
So, they can share with their families, whatever, they can use that map when they come back, and it'll be a
True, I think people
Point of
aspire
interest, yeah,
to always
exactly.
go back to the city that they really enjoyed. I know I still have maps from Italy.
Maybe more to the point of Flatiron, I think it'd be great if we did something down there as well, because, I'm the kind of person who likes to read a lot about food blogs and go to new restaurants and stuff, but I like to discover new neighborhoods too. Like, I just like to amble on my day off and go through and discover new things and say, oh, there's that store that I recommended last week or whatever. So, Flatiron being obviously a growing district, was a meatpacking last night for the Whitney event, and so just walking around and seeing new stores and what's going on Gansworth Street, and there's so much growth going on there too. So,
Any other questions?
that was
I thought I did too.
that was answered.
All right, if we have no more questions, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank everyone so much for coming. I hope you guys are
Folks, if you wanted to take 574 of the Roosevelt House.